Okay, let's make this screwdriver using specifications in the left panel. So let's start from scratch. We're going to put this in millimeters. We need to open up metric and locate standard millimeters there. And then we're going to make this sketch right here, but let's just do it for the handle. So let's go ahead and do a two-dimensional sketch. And let's start at the origin, let's say on the XY plane. And we'll start with just a line that's going to be 60 millimeters in length. So I'm just going to type in 60 right there. And then I'm going to come back and go to zoom all. I need another line right there just yet. Escape, kind of move this down here. So we're going to try to reproduce this area. And the next thing is the diameter is 15, the radius is 7.5. If I use the revolve tool, I'd better use the radius instead. So let me come up here like that, and then just type in 7.5. Looks like it is trying to snap into a different size. So we could, if that becomes problematic, we could come over here to document settings and see if there's some snapping going on. Yeah, so I might just make it like 0.1 instead, since we're dealing with a rather small object. I mean, the screwdriver only has a diameter around 4 millimeters on the metal head end of it. You can move this off to the side and pan over here, holding the middle mouse wheel down. Let's go ahead and do these little details that are in here. You'll notice that there is a step right in this area, and we'll read about that in the bulleted description. So let's go up just a bit, then over a little bit, and then up, and then see if we can get in line with that and do that right there. Now things look a little bit big here. It's probably because I went under tools and application options and I increased my annotation size there. It's a little bit too big, so maybe I'll shrink it down a little bit. I just wanted you to be able to see the lettering on the screen. If that helps you, then certainly go for it. And let's go ahead and finish up the sketch. And make sure we get all the dimensions right. We've got the handle diameter in there, and we need to put a fillet radius in there. So let's get the fillet tool. Now this is for the sketch fillet. So this is instead of the 3D model fillet, this is just a sketch fillet. So I'm going to type in 7.5 and then click on that corner right there. And that looks to be too much. I wonder if that is the diameter, because that doesn't look like this right here. Let's see if we move this around, it will tell us that if, yeah, that looks to be the diameter, I think. Right, so let's just cut that in half. Oh, wait. If we type in 15, yeah, that's certainly not right. Oh, I see where the problem is. That is just the distance from the axis to the outside. The fillet should really be 4. That looks more like the sketch that I have right over here. It's kind of small lettering. Now what we got to do is make this a really thin step. So we're going to go and grab the dimension tool and put a small step right here, up 0.5 millimeters. Then also we need to grab this line right there, and let's see how far that one needs to be. It looks to be 2 millimeters for that one. So those two are now set. And so we'll pull that up like this, maybe pull this in here. All right, now it looks like there's also a looks like a handle or like a grip. So let's do the grip dimensions. So it says to place an arc, maybe a 3-point arc or maybe a center point arc. Let's try a center point arc. So we'll go just kind of place it there to begin with, and then go over here and then hopefully lock back in right there. Then we need to place it as it says here. So let's see, it needs to be 5 millimeters in diameter. So let's dimension that part. Okay, and I hope, oh, wait. Oh, it says 5 millimeters radius. Okay. And then we need to place the center of it 10 millimeters from the origin. And the center needs to be 3.5 relative to the outside edge of the handle. So dimension center to the outside edge of the handle. Looks like I got pretty close on that. Looks to be fully dimensioned. I wonder if I can take that little part right there, maybe with trim, and just pull that out of there. Unfortunately, it removed this one. Sometimes that happens, so we just add it right back. So now we have a closed shape that we can hopefully revolve. So I guess we are to the point where we can revolve. It looks like there's one dimension missing, and I wonder what that would be. Maybe this one. Oh, it doesn't say that it's coincident or collinear. So if we click on that line and we say we want this to be collinear with this one, then we'll be back in good shape. Now we're fully defined, fully constrained. It's time to revolve. We want to revolve this complete shape right here around this axis. So we get something that, I don't know, I kind of like this kind of handle where it's not completely round at the end, it's a little bit flat, especially if you want to use a flathead screwdriver for a chisel. All right, so that kind of looks okay. Let's go ahead and use this surface to do the cuts. Did we do everything here? We got some cuts in the grip. We also need to do the metal shaft. I suppose we could do the metal shaft so we can just keep going down in order. So let's orbit around here, shift and orbit. And let's start our new sketch right there. And let's just make a small circle that we can extrude. And let's see what the diameter of this needs to be. Okay, so it says metal shaft length is 60 millimeters and the diameter is 4. Okay. And I can see that by the symbol there, it is measuring the diameter. So we're just going to use that as 4, and then we need to extrude that 60. Okay, let's see if that's going to work for us. We're going to use this shape, and let's see if it looks reasonable for a screwdriver. Yeah, not bad. Let's continue on. We need to make a handle grip using these cuts. We're make a circular pattern of these cuts. We'll start making a sketch on this end, and we'll make a circle that's going to lead to a cut. Now, what we could do is just make this circle out here that was talking about, and I think I'm just going to type in 6 right there. And then what I'll do is say that that circle is 9 millimeters from the center. Yeah, I better put this down on the origin, though. I mean, I'm sorry, on the x-axis. So let's just make a line that comes from here out to there. Oh, wait, looks like it's trying to measure degrees. So let's try that again. A line from the center out to here. And I want to make that be 9 millimeters. So there that is. Now what we can do with that line is turn that into a construction line and then make sure that this is sitting out on the end of that construction line by saying coincident. So I hope you see what's happening there. We've got a 9 millimeter line here and a 6 millimeter circle, fully constrained. So let's begin our cut. So we select the second option to cut. I'm going to use this shape right here, pretty much through everything. It looks like it did the right thing by going through the part that we needed to. And then we need to repeat this circular pattern, or repeat this as a circular pattern, rather. And so we go up to circular pattern for 3-dimensional shapes. Let's look for it here and right there. Okay, so it's basically going to say what feature do you want, and I want this extrude cut from right there. We could actually relabel that to make it easier to find, but you can see that it's highlighted pretty well there. Okay, the next one is the rotation axis. So I think you have to click here. And if you don't have an axis drawn, you can just say pick a circle that goes around that axis. And now you see that we've made 6 of those cuts. And so now we have completed a nice looking handle based on this description right here. All right, the last thing to do here before we start applying some material to it, like stainless steel, is to make the flathead on the end. In order to do that, we're going to use a new feature called a loft. So let's rub it around to here. select that surface, and we need to come up from that surface a distance of 5 millimeters right here. So in order to do that, you say, I want a plane that's offset from this plane, and you can actually pull on it right there, but you can just say 5 like that. And so it makes this plane that's hovering above the first one, panning and orbiting to look at closer at it. So that plane is hovering above that. So we're basically on this plane right here. That's 5 millimeters from the flat circle to the rectangle here. We do need to make a rectangle, so let's right click in this area, new sketch, and we want to select that so that it's facing, and we can make a rectangle. You know what? It'd be a good idea to do center rectangle so that it's fully constrained to be on the center. Makes it a little bit easier to do that. I'm just gonna, I guess, get close, but then what you can do on the dimension is follow the instructions over here. So it needs to be 7 millimeters this way. And over here, we're going to make that 3 millimeters. Okay, and so now that's fully constrained. So we can orbit around and say, now what I want is a loft. So basically go from circle to rectangle, and that tool to do that is called a loft. You can see it even looks like what we're trying to achieve. You select the outside of the first object, this one here. Then you select the outside of the other one, and you might be able to see a preview of it there in green. There it is. And sometimes I'll click finish too early, but you're supposed to click OK right here. So now you can see that that's beginning to look like the beginning of this flathead end. We can right click on that work plane and make it invisible so that we can start a new work plane that is going to be 7 millimeters above that surface. 7. Then we can start drawing on this plane. And we want a smaller rectangle for this one because that's where the flat edge is. So we'll go here and just maybe guess at the size, but then come in here, make it fully constrained. It looks to be 3 millimeters this way and a small narrow 0.5 here. Does that look right? That might be a little bit narrow on that. I might have to go back and change that a bit. Let's see how it looks. So what we would do is try to make that loft. Kind of looks okay for a relatively fine tip screwdriver. Let's see how it looks though. Loft. Then you want to do the outside edge of this one, green box, and then outside edge of this one, green box. Then click OK to see how it looks. Now let's see if it looks anything like this other one that we have over there. It looks to be maybe a little bit too short. So what I can do is if you look down here, I have the other part maybe down here somewhere. So drawing right there, Phillips right there. This is actually a flathead. And I can go see what the dimensions are on that sketch that we lofted in between. So I can go right here and I can say edit sketch. And that way I can, correct my diagram if I need to. It looks like it was going around the wrong end. Oh yeah, it looks like it wasn't even defined. So we need something closer to this. So what we're going to do is come in here and see how big it is, and then we're going to go back and clarify the instructions because 3 millimeters looks to be a little bit too narrow. Let's see if you like the dimension that we're going to put right here. Let's just say 5, and then say okay. It should roll all those changes forward, and then we go, does that make sense? Sure. So what we're going to do then is pause the video and edit that number. So it looks like we're going to put 5 in there instead. We come back to this loft and click on the sketch that's at the end. Edit. Hopefully it'll face it. Good. Double click on the thing we want to change. It's going to be 5. Then we say okay to that change and then go back to our home view. Looks pretty good. And then what we do is we hide that working plane now that we've used it as we intended. Let's give some material to this. as an additional requirement, maybe I'll just add that down here at the bottom. Additional requirement is to add some material. We know that we probably have a stainless steel or similar kind of material. So let's go to material, type in steel. Cap locks appears to be on. We'll just pick stainless steel, and we'll apply it only to this shape that's down here, if it will allow us to do so. So perhaps what I should do is only select the thing I want to be. I'm using control click here. And let's just do those two things, maybe. That one, that one. Okay, control clicking and material, and we're going to make that out of, just to make sure it's working, you can hover over copper to see if it's going to change it. Looks like it's trying to change the whole thing. So let's go up here and say steel. And select stainless steel. And use the up arrow like that. And hopefully it will only apply it to the object that we want. So it looks like the material tool here applies that to the entire part. So we want an appearance instead. And so we'll just see if we can get steel from the list. There's semi-polished steel. Let's see if we got a little bit something more glossy like this right here. Can we pull it over there? Can we maybe select the object here and just and that one right there, control click, and then see if we can change the appearance to semi-polished. Want something maybe a little bit more reflective. And I kind of liked stainless steel. That's satin, but maybe this one will look a little bit more like you would find in Lowe's, I suppose. And then there's our reflective part. Let's go ahead and add some appearance to the metal shaft here as well. Oops, the appearance is what I need here. And I guess still we have to find it. I thought it might save it in our preferences. Scroll down here to polished. And I guess right there would apply it. Okay, so now we'll see if we can get some kind of plastic to use down here. We can also change the view a little bit to say, get rid of the hard lines that are out here. Let's see if that will work. If we go to visual style and just say shaded. So it looks like I accidentally used a different kind of material here on the flathead, which is okay. Sometimes those are heat treated, so I won't go back and change that. Let's see if I can find something colorful to put here on the handle. So I'm going to pan over like this and look for a good target color or material. Okay, so let's give the overall extruded part, looks like it's going to be actually a revolved part, an appearance that is maybe just black, and then make the yellow be the grips. So we can just use something like maybe a little bit of glossiness to it. And that looks pretty good. We could even leave it like that, but how about to get some canary yellow or something like that in for these other parts? It might be that we have to paint these. Let's see if that's going to be the case. So I'm going to double click on that, or maybe click right here and say I want that to be yellow, this to be yellow. Do I have to click each time? Yeah, it looks like I had to click each time. Now I need to roll the object around. So I'm clicking here and there, clicking here and here, trying to figure out how it's coloring, what the process is. Looks like I have to click once and then color. Click once and then color. Nope. How about click the object and then color? That appears to be it. Object. Looks like it actually maybe is still on paint mode. Actually, it looks like it's just changing to a separate object. So we got to click on the excuse me, the object and paint the object down here and paint it. Maybe there's a bit faster way. If you can find that, that's great. I thought about applying it to the cut, but I don't know if it would really work in that case. Looks like a nice looking screwdriver there. Let's make sure I got everything right. Pretty good looking screwdriver. All right, so just make sure you save this with the home view like that and upload that into D12. You'd be good to go.